what is God's vision for us mentally? And you can look at, before I begin, you can look at these testaments from two perspectives. Either you yourself is asking these individual questions and learning about them and having them serve as a reminder to you as you go forward, or you can have it as a perspective of someone or an unbeliever, you are ministering to them and they're asking you these questions and you're answering them and you're explaining them and going to the Word to answer these questions that they have. So we'll begin here with the first missing piece titled Visions. And this seeks to answer, well, what is God's vision for us mentally? And really, when we talk about the Lord's vision, we have to look to Romans 12:2, and the first three verses there, and it's signaling a victorious mental transformation, not some minor tweak or minor adjustment in our lives upon conversion. This is a permanent and everlasting personal decision. That is his vision for us, to go to him. So we look to Romans chapter 12, the first three verses there. States, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as God hath dealt to every man the measure of faith. And if you go through Paul's 13 epistles here, it can be found that roughly 48 to 50 times does Paul mention the word mind, renewing of the mind, spirit of the mind, anxious or carefulness in his epistles here. And does that not signal to us the vital importance of that process of once and for all being reborn, being renewed of our minds, and putting off the old man, which we see here in further down Ephesians chapter 4, verses 22 to 24, that ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to deceitful lusts, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, that ye may put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness. And the main signal here from God is to fully put to rest our past flawed selves in good faith and in good health, for good, once and for all. Because the old man cannot linger. Who we were, teetering on this borderline between maybe a life that was led by sin and corruption, as it states here, and a life that is truly meant for us by God's grace and by his will for us, which we know is holy and acceptable. So we know that we have to fully put to rest our past flawed selves, put away the old man wholly, and move on and assume the new man. Finishing here with the parable of seed casting, which is, again, part of his vision for us, we know that when we encounter or when we're communicating with other people, we have to do it in a compassionate and loving way. And let the rest take care of itself. Let the Lord's will take care of the rest when we're away from them. Mark chapter 4, 26 to 29, this is just a brief example here. And he said, so the kingdom of God, as if a man should cast a seed into the ground, and should sleep, and rise night and day. And the seed should spring and grow up, he knoweth not how. For the earth bringeth forth fruit of herself, first a blade, then the ear, after that the full corn in the ear. But when the fruit is brought forth, immediately he putteth in the sickle, because the harvest is come. So essentially, in terms of the true kingdom of God, we must mentally plant seeds, and when we're having conversations with other people, whether they be like-minded believers or people that we're ministering to who have never heard the gospel of the grace of God, we need to be of one mind, of a renewed mind, before we can do that. And understanding that we were all given one-of-a-kind charms by God, and they're to be used for God's vision. And I'll end visions here with, it's actually in the book as well that you can read. It's a message quite like Isaiah chapter 55, where it's, if you thirst, I will give you I will give you beverage. If you are hungry, there will be food. If you're broke spiritually, you will be rich. And it's quite like that here. I'll read it for us. This is from God directed to me as he speaks to every one of us. It says, to you, son, I'm with you today. I'll be with you tomorrow. The downpours along with the strife. This glistening dichotomous fortune you are now aware of. Those people I gave to you, they lost when you lost. Without feeling and tears, you slowly perished and thirsted. But I'll fill your cup to overflowing. I'll take care of you. I'll keep my promises, the ones you see glimpses of every now and again. I'll renew your mind and provide clarity of your purpose. Come, walk with me on the trail I've blazed just for you. My vision, a perfect creation with real inevitability of greatness awaiting. And there we see this inevitability of greatness, and you can have two paths there. Either you can follow your own path that you think is the best for you, or you can follow the Lord's. Knowing that the real greatness stands in him and him alone, not in your own conceptualized plan in that way. So that seeks to answer, that is vision. We'll move on to the second missing piece here.